Yashodanandana Brajajana Ranjana Munatira Vannacharim Munatira Vannacharim Yorada Madhava Jayo Kunja Bihari Jayo Radha Madhava Jayo Kunja Bihari Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. श्री राधा माधव अष्ट कृष्ण महाप्रभु की सिंहदेव भगवान की जय पांच तत्व की श्रील प्रभुपाद की जय. Hare Krishna. I'm surprised that I'm again sitting here since I gave a class recently. But yesterday, Padma Prabhu, who is scheduling the classes, yesterday afternoon he called me and asked me, can you give class tomorrow? And I protested, well, this is very short notice, I don't like giving classes at such short notice. But he told me, no problem, as they say in India, no problem, because no shloka tomorrow, just Krishna Katha, you speak whatever you like. I thought, oh, well, maybe that's a good argument. So I'm here. Anyway, I chose a shloka, just to keep the format of Srimad Bhagavatam class. And I'll read it since it's not on the board. It's shloka from the 9th canto, just the end of the 9th canto, where Shukadeva Goswami introduces the Krishna's pastimes that he is going to speak about in the 10th canto. 924, chapter Krishna Supreme Personality of Godhead, shlokas 63 and 64. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Bhojavrisht Yanankamadu Shurasena Dasharakai Shlagna Shlagniye Hitashashvat Kuru Srinjaya Pandubhi Snigdasmite Kshito Dharair Vakyair Vikrama Lelaya Nrilokam Ramayam Asa Murtya Sarvanga Ramyayam. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. Assisted by the descendants of Bhoja, Vrishni, Andaka, Madhu, Shurasena, Dasharha, Kuru, Srinjaya and Pandu, Lord Krishna performed various activities. By His pleasing smiles, His affectionate behavior, His instructions, and His uncommon pastimes like raising Govardhan Hill, the Lord appearing in His transcendental body pleased all of human society. Purport. The words Nrilokam Ramayam Asa Murtya Sarvanga Ramyaya are significant. Krishna is the original form. Bhagavan, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, is therefore described here by the word Murtya. The word Murti means form. Krishna or God is never impersonal. The impersonal feature is but a manifestation of His transcendental body. Yasya prabha prabhavato jagat ananda koti. The Lord is Narakriti, exactly resembling the form of a human being, but His form is different from ours. Therefore, the word Sarvanga Ramyaya informs us that every part of His body is pleasing for everyone to see. Apart from His smiling face, every part of His body, His hands, His legs, His chest, is pleasing to the devotees who cannot at any time stop seeing the beautiful form of the Lord. Om Jnana Timirandasya Gyananjana Salakaya Chakshurun Militam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yuta Padakamalam Shri Gurum Vaishnavamscha Shri Rupam Sagriyatam Sahagana Ragunatam Vitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakam Vitamscha He Krishna Karuna Sindho Dina Bandho Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Tapta Kanchana Ghorangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Rishabhanusute Devi Pranamami Hari Priye Namo Mahavadanyaya Krishna Prema Pradayate Krishna Krishna Chaitanya Namne Gorat Vishe Namaha Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasadi Ghora Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. So we are starting today 1 week of Krishna Katha till the Janmashtami. Janmashtami is on Saturday. So every day we'll have different speakers speaking about Krishna's pastimes. And somehow in our Srimad Bhagavatam classes we came up to the 10th canto and the birth of Lord Krishna. So even before of this 1 week Katha, we spoke about Krishna's pastimes and Krishna's birth. But now specifically we'll concentrate on Krishna Lila. In previous 9 cantos of Bhagavatam that took, I think, some years to finish, we heard about many things. We heard about material creation, creation of the universe, about different Lila avatars and their pastimes. And that was certainly very necessary in order to qualify us to hear about Canto and Krishna's pastimes. Because unless the proper foundation in Tattva is established, hearing and speaking about Krishna's pastimes will not be very beneficial, and one tends to take them too cheaply and becomes a sahajiya. So we need to be firmly established in Tattva in order to be able to hear and speak the Lila of Krishna. Because once we are firmly established in Tattva, we know that Krishna is the Supreme Personality of Godhead and that all universes rest in Him. And then by listening His pastimes, we will not mistaken them for pastimes of ordinary human being. So Krishna pastimes are the essence. And we need to come to the point that we are able to relish them. So we have these pastimes described. They're described in Srimad Bhagavatam, specifically in the Canto 10. But they're also described in many other scriptures, many other shastras. We all know about Bhagavad Gita, which is part of Mahabharata. And Krishna's pastimes are also there in the Mahabharata, but to the much lesser degree than it's in the Bhagavatam. In the Mahabharata, Krishna, apart from Bhagavad Gita, is in the background. He appears here and there, and Pandavas are in the foreground. So this Mahabharata is not the only Mahabharata that exists. This is Mahabharata that we have, is Mahabharata of Vaishampayana. But there is another Mahabharata, Mahabharata of Jaimini. Unfortunately, that Mahabharata is at present lost, but it's much larger work than present Mahabharata. And in this Mahabharata, Krishna is much more in the center than in Vaishampayana's Mahabharata. Fortunately, there is an appendix to the existing Mahabharata in which Krishna is in the center. And that appendix is called, anybody can guess? It's called Harivamsha. It's Upa Purana Harivamsha and describes the lineage of Lord Krishna and his family. So in Harivamsha, many pastimes that are described in Bhagavatam are also described, but sometimes in more detail. For example, the pastime where Krishna goes to heavenly planets to get the Parijata tree, in Bhagavatam is described very shortly. But in Harivamsha we have a whole conversation between Indra and Krishna, and Indra argues that actually this tree belongs to the heavenly planets and it cannot go down because the humans, they are not qualified to see it. So such details are described in Harivamsha. And all acharyas, they extensively quote from Harivamsha and Srila Prabhupada also. Regarding the Mahabharata of Jaimini, although we don't have that work, fortunately, we have appendix to that work that still exists. Anybody can guess what it is, the appendix to Mahabharata of Jaimini? I'm sure you all heard of it. It's called Brihad Bhagavatamrita, written by Sanatana Goswami. It's appendix to Mahabharata of Jaimini. So Brihad Bhagavatamrita is spoken by Maharaj Jaimini, by sage Jaimini, to Maharaj Janamejaya, who was the son of Maharaj Parikshit. So you can say, well, it was spoken 5,000 years ago. How could Sanatana Goswami know about this conversation? He was not there. then you can say, well, maybe just the imagination of Sanatana Goswami, he wrote it like some drama. But actually it's not so. It is the event that really happened. Maharaj Parikshit, after he heard the Srimad Bhagavatam, he had only a couple of hours left to live. And in these 2 hours, his mother Uttara came to him and begged him to tell her the essence of what he heard in these 7 days of Bhagavad Saptaha. So in these 2 hours, he condensed Srimad Bhagavatam and told her what he thought was most important. And then later, this was recounted by Jaimini Rishi to Maharaj Janamejaya. And Sanatana Goswami, although he was not there, he could all perceive this by power of his meditation. Vedic rishis, by power of their meditation, they are able to recover the lost Shastra and to hear and see the events that happened long time ago. Sanatana Goswami is such a rishi and even higher. So by power of his meditation, he could perceive this conversation and record it for our benefit in Brihad Bhagavatamrita, and he gave even a commentary on his own shlokas of that Brihad Bhagavatamrita. But it's not something that is imagined, it's something that really happened. So what is the theme of this Brihad Bhagavatamrita, of this work, which is the essence of Srimad Bhagavatam? The theme is twofold. First theme is that Vrajavasis, headed by Sri Radha, are the greatest devotees of Lord Krishna, old Hari. And second theme is that the highest abode where this love is exhibited is Sri Vrindavan Dham, Goloka and Gokula Vrindavan. So twofold theme. The highest devotees and the abode where their love is exhibited. Srila Vishnu Chakravarti Thakur in Chaitanya Manjusha, he wrote a famous verse where all our philosophy is condensed in few shlokas. He says, Aradhya Bhagavan Vrajesha Tanayasta Dhama Vrindavanam Ramya Kajirupasana Vrajavadu Vargena Yakalpita Srimad Bhagavatam Pramanam Amalam Premam Pumartho Mahan Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhur Mathamidam Tatra Daro Na Paraha. So he says, Aradhya Bhagavan Vrajesha Tanayas. The Supreme Personality of Godhead, Lord Krishna, the son of Nanda Maharaj, is the most worshipable object. Tadhama Vrindavanam, along with his abode, Sri Vrindavan. Ramya Kajid Upasana, the most pleasing form of worship for the Lord is that which is performed by the gopis of Vrindavan, by Vrajavadus. Srimad Bhagavatam Pramanam Amalam. Srimad Bhagavatam is the spotless authority on everything. And Prema Pumarto Mahan, the pure love of Godhead, is the ultimate goal for all men. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu Mathamidam Tatra Daro Naparaha. These statements, for which we have the highest regard, are the opinion of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So, Lord Krishna and his abode are the most worshipable objects for all men. And for our own benefit, he exhibited his pastimes from a transcendental spiritual world, from Goloka Vrindavan, in front of our eyes, that we can become attracted to it and develop desire to join these pastimes. We know when the Lord appeared, he spent first 11 years in Vrindavan. And then, in order to execute his mission of establishing the religious principles, protecting the pious and annihilating the miscreants, he left. And in Srimad Bhagavatam, there is no account of his coming back. But in other Shastras, we have proofs that he did come back. For example, in Garga Samhita, we have description that only after 3 months in Mathura, Krishna felt the need to go back to Vrindavan to console Vrajavasis who were all on the verge of death. And he did come back, according to Garga Samhita, and spent 3 months with them, and then again left. And another occasion when he came back was after killing the Dantavakra, which happened close to Mathura. He again came back to Vrindavan and performed pastimes there. Anyway, we'll try to follow the Srimad Bhagavatam description where it's not mentioned. So in the Bhagavatam we have description of Krishna asking Uddhava to go to Vrindavan and console the residents of Vrindavan and bring them his message. Because it was already after many years of Krishna being away in Dwaraka, and through messengers he got the news that Vrajavasis is suffering severely. So feeling compassion to them, he thought that it would be best to send Uddhava. Why he didn't go himself? The reason that he didn't go, at least in Srimad Bhagavatam, is that if he went, all the inimical warriors and kings, they will find it out through the spies that he is connected to Vrindavan, that he is actually a relative of all the Vrindavan Vasis. And then in order to retaliate, they would go and destroy Vrindavan when he was not there. Just imagine huge armies of millions of soldiers coming and disturbing peaceful atmosphere of Vrindavan. It would create chaos. All the cows, forest, everything would be destroyed. Krishna just could not allow this to happen. So in order to protect the Vrajavasis, he had to stay away. But he thought, okay, if I cannot go, let me send Uddhava. Because he thought that Uddhava was perfect personality for this task. Uddhava is described as Buddhi Sattama, the most intelligent. He was a cousin brother of Krishna because he was the son of Vasudev's brother Deva Bhaga. The detail is described again in Harivamsha. And in Krishna's own words, Uddhava is not even slightly different from him. Uddhava is not even slightly different from me, Krishna says in Bhagavatam. So that he was fully qualified to expertly pacify the residents of Vrindavan who were all feeling such intense separation from Krishna. And then another purpose of sending him, after coming back from Vrindavan, Uddhava would be able to describe that extraordinary pure love of Vrindavan Vasis to all the residents of Dwaraka, who were all Krishna's devotees. And Krishna wanted them to hear about this love and to develop faith and to develop yearning for such a love. And he also wanted to glorify the Vrajavasis. So in the Bhagavatam, Krishna says to Uddhava, my dear gentle Uddhava, please go to Vraja and give pleasure to our parents. And also relieve the gopis suffering in separation from me by giving them my message. The minds of those gopis are always absorbed in me, and their very lives are very devoted to me. For my sake, they have abandoned everything related to their bodies, renouncing ordinary happiness in this life, as well as religious duties necessary for such happiness in the next life. I alone am their dear most beloved, and indeed their very self. I personally sustain such devotees for my sake, because for my sake, they gave up all the worldly duties. And as you know, although Uddhava was not glad to separate from Krishna, on the other side he was happy that he can serve him and please him by going to Vrindavan. So he mounts a chariot and goes to Vrindavan. I don't know how long it took him from Dwaraka to Vrindavan, but it's described that when he arrived at outskirts of Raj, it was sunset, it was dusk time. And what did he see? To his surprise, he saw by the arrangement of Lord's internal portrait, the Vrindavan as it used to be when Krishna was there. He heard the gopis singing songs about Krishna. He noticed cows, because the dust cows are coming back from the forest. He saw the bulls fighting in the road. He saw sacrificial fires burning in houses with all auspicious paraphernalia. And he saw all the Vrajavasis in very cheerful mood. In other words, he perceived Vrindavan that is not visible to ordinary eyes. What did he perceive? He perceived aprakata Vrindavan, unmanifested Vrindavan. Although in reality, to the normal eyes, all one could see was just desolate land, all Vrajavasis on the verge of death suffering, empty houses, nothing was cleaned, nobody had any desire to live and to do anything. That was visible to ordinary eyes. But what Uddhava could see, it was unmanifested Vrindavan, aprakata Vrindavan. He could see the lila that is going on eternally in the spiritual world. And in this lila, Krishna was there with the Vrajavasis and enjoyed pastimes with them. And everything was going on very nicely, and everybody was happy in a cheerful mood. So there are these two terms, aprakata lila and prakata lila, manifest pastimes and unmanifest pastimes. So prakata lila is manifested in the universe sometimes for a certain period of time. And once that lila finishes, prakata abode Vrindavan merges into aprakata Vrindavan, and the pastimes continue to go on there in this unmanifested lila. So you would say, well, in that way, aprakata unmanifested lila is much better than prakata lila, because Krishna is always there and everybody is always jolly and happy. But prakata lila, it also has its own advantages, especially for us conditioned souls, because conditioned souls with their material eyes cannot perceive aprakata pastimes that are now happening. Those who develop the transcendental vision, even if they go today to Vrindavan, they will see Krishna performing his pastimes. But most of us who have not yet developed these eyes, if we go to Vrindavan, we see what? We see traffic jams and rickshaws and people selling things in the street, and we see sewage and pollution and chaos and so many things. But those who have eyes, they can actually see that Krishna is there and he's performing his pastimes. One characteristic of prakata lila is that Krishna, he leaves the certain abode In Prakata Lila, Krishna is for a certain period of time present in Vrindavan, and then when he goes out of Vrindavan to Mathura or Dwaraka, he is no more present in Vrindavan. So he leaves from one abode to another. When he is in Dwaraka, he is not in Mathura and Vrindavan. But in Amprakata Lila, Krishna can be present in all these abodes simultaneously. So at the same time, he can perform pastimes in unlimited number of places, in unlimited number of forms. But this is not happening in Prakata Lila. Why? Because it would be too confusing for us. If Krishna would be in Mathura and Dwaraka and Vrindavan, here and there, in so many forms, the minds of conditioned soul just would not be able to digest it. It would be too confusing. That's why, as a rule, in Prakata and Manifested Lila, he performs just one pastime at a time in one place. And then he goes to another place and performs pastime there. And due to this reason, we have Krishna coming and going from certain abodes to another abodes. We have departures. And inevitably, these departures from one abode to another, they create separation. They create sort of traumatic experience for the residents of the abode that he left, that is causing them to suffer separation. That at first glance looks painful, but actually is the highest ecstasy. And in this way, actually they relish the rasa called karuna rasa, the rasa of pathos, of extreme sadness. It looks like a great suffering, but it's actually a rasa that can be relished. Although they never desire to relish this rasa, still, due to the nature of Krishna's pastimes, they do relish it. We know when Akrura came to Vrindavan, also like Uddhava, he came at dusk, and he was very nicely received by Nanda Maharaj, by Krishna and Balaram. But the next day, when he prepared his chariot to take Krishna and Balaram to Mathura, everybody was very much aggrieved. Mother Yashoda was crying. Nanda Maharaj tried to pacify her. Somehow he managed to pacify to a certain degree. But then the gopis, they just could not be pacified. They chastised both Nanda Maharaj and Yashoda. They told to Yashoda, you are like a cow who lets her own calf be taken away by a tiger. They perceive Akrura as a tiger. Although his name means uncruel, to the gopis he was the most cruel. And everybody becomes so much immersed in this mellow rasa of sorrow that they completely forget themselves. Krishna and Balaram, they are already in a chariot. Akrura is there, ready to take them away. But because this sadness of the gopis is so all-pervading that everybody starts crying. Krishna and Balaram cry also. And even Akrura starts to cry. And everybody is completely bewildered. Basically, they faint. So even Akrura fainted, and when he came back to his senses, he looked around and Krishna and Balaram are not anymore there on the chariot. And he goes to look for them, and he notices that Krishna is with the gopis in the nearby kunja. So he takes Balaram with him, and then from a distance he begs Krishna. He's pleading to him, saying, your mother and father, they're in Kamsa's arms, and he's holding the sword above their head, ready to cut them at any moment. Can you allow this? So in this way, by using different tactics, he manages to bring Krishna back to the chariot. And then he starts the chariot very fast. But the gopis, they cannot be consoled. They're holding on the chariot. They're throwing themselves in front of the wheels, in front of the horses. But the crew are very expert in maneuvers around them. And as soon as the road is clear, he just cracks the whip and goes out. And he doesn't stop until they come to that Brahmahrada lake. And only there he stops, and then with different logical arguments, he manages to somehow pacify Krishna and to bring him almost to the normal state. And then only after that they can continue journey onwards to Mathura. So you can say, if this leaving of Krishna is so painful to Rajavasis, why they did not go with him? Why they just didn't come to Mathura? They could all come, all the Rajavasis, Yashodama, Nanda Maharaj, they could come and live there in Mathura or Dwaraka with Krishna. But this never happens. According to Srila Jiva Goswami, if the Nanda and Yashoda were present in the same place where the Vasudeva and Devaki were, that would create sort of awkward situation. Having two sets of parents in one place and trying to exchange love with two sets of parents would be very confusing, and it create weird situation. And even in this world, I met such situations that a child whose parents are divorced has two sets of parents, and they both live in the same town, the same place. And weekdays, the children spend with the mother at her house, and then they go to another set of parents during the weekend, and it's creating confusion in the mind of a child. So similarly, if Yashoda and Nanda were in Dwaraka with Vasudeva and Devaki, it would not be very beneficial for exchange of love between them and Krishna. So generally, the residents of certain abode, be it Vrindavan, Mathura or Dwaraka, they stay in that abode even if Krishna leaves. Because the different moods of these different particular dhams complement and nurture corresponding the moods of devotees who live in those dhams. And the residents of the particular dham have deep attachment to dham itself. The residents of Vrindavan have deep attachment to Sri Vrindavan Dham. And sometimes this attachment is so strong that they show more attachment to Vrindavan Dham than to Krishna himself. But it's only apparently. It's only apparently. They are attached to Vrindavan Dham because they are attached to their Krishna. They are attached to Vrindavan Krishna, the Krishna in the particular mood which he displays only in Vrindavan and that he doesn't display anywhere else. During the Ratha Yatra, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he chanted one sloka starting with Yakumara Hara, that youth, that personality who stole away my heart during my youth. And nobody except Swarupa Damodar knew what he was talking about. But then Rupa Goswami understood his mind. And he wrote a complementary shloka and left it on the roof of his hut. So once when Chaitanya Mahaprabhu came to visit him and Haridas Thakur at Siddha Bakula, he saw that shloka and he was very, very happy to read it. The shloka said, "My dear friend, Now I have met my very old and dear friend Krishna on this field of Kurukshetra. I'm seeing Radharani and now we are meeting together. It is very pleasant, but still I would like to go to the bank of Yamuna beneath the trees of the forest there. I wish to hear the vibration of his sweet flute playing the fifth note within the forest of Vrindavan. In other words, Rupa Goswami was expressing the mood of Srimati Radharani, who although met Krishna at Vrindavan, at Kurukshetra, still missed Vrindavan Krishna. Still missed those days when they met in Vrindavan. So we often hear the statement that Krishna, son of Nanda Maharaj, he never leaves Vrindavan. How is that? What about these other Krishnas? Krishna in Mathura, Krishna in Dwaraka? So when Akrura took Krishna and Balaram on the chariot to Mathura, Vrajendra Nandan Krishna, he left with Akrura only till the edge of Raj. And then he left actually in his aprakata unmanifested form. He left in the Raj. And what Akrura took was Vasudeva Krishna. Vasudeva Krishna, he went onwards with Akrura to Mathura. And then Dwarakanath Krishna is also another expansion of the original form of Krishna. So Vrajendra Nandan Krishna is the original personality of Godhead. And only in Vrindavan Krishna displays his full qualities. It is not that Krishna in Mathura and Dwaraka is not Supreme Personality of God. He is. But he does not display his qualities in full. Doesn't display 100% of his qualities. Only in Vrindavan Krishna displays his full potential. Why is that? Something has to draw these qualities out of him. And what is that? That is the love of his devotees. So only in Vrindavan his devotees show that intensity and quality of love that draw his qualities in full. In other abodes, the love of devotees like Mathuravasis and Brijvasis and Dvarakavasis is not so strong and intense to draw all these qualities from him. Only in Vrindavan these qualities come out. So that's why we say Krishna never leaves Vrindavan, but his expansion does. And it's also said that in Dwaraka Krishna is complete, in Mathura he is more complete, and he is the most complete in Vrindavan. Also in Prakata Lila, it's another difference. Krishna appears to move the cycle of ages. He grows up gradually from Pauganda to Kishora. But in Aprakata Lila, Krishna is eternal youth, eternal Kishore. But he repeatedly displays the other ages whenever the pastimes call for these other ages. So all the features of Prakata Lila are also present in Aprakata Lila, even the killing of demons. Although you can say there are no demons in spiritual world, and that is true, but there are creations of yoga mind that look like demons. They look like Kashi and Arishta and Kamsa. It's a creation of yoga mind, not a real person who performs certain function in order to facilitate the pastimes. So in Goloka Vrindavan, Krishna repeatedly kills Kamsa, although he killed him so many times, again and again. But everybody is so much absorbed in the love, an ecstatic love, that they forget that these pastimes happened. So there is no fault, because they are completely oblivious that the same pastime happened. They're so much absorbed in the rasa that they just don't remember that the same pastimes already happened in unlimited variation, of course. For example, It's described Brihabhagavatamrita. Sometimes in Goloka, Keshi, the horse demon, and the Arishta, the bull demon, they come together to Vrindavan. And they're so huge and big that their heads touching the sky practically. And everybody in Vrindavan village is so scared. And they all beg Krishna to protect them. And Krishna, he slaps his arms, ties his belt, and of course he goes and confronts Keshi, whirls him around and throws him tens of miles away. Then he gets the Arishta for the nose and takes him from Nandagram to Vrindavan and ties him there in front of Gopishwara Mahadev. Then he comes back again to Nandagram to confront Arishta, to confront Keshi, who came back. And then he tames Keshi and makes him a domestic animal for all the Rajavasis and cowherd boys to ride on. So in this ways, Krishna's pastimes are going on in unlimited variations without stopping eternally. Even those pastimes of killing the demons. So what is the purpose of displaying these pastimes in the material world, in the Prakriti, in front of our own eyes? What is the purpose? There must be some purpose, otherwise it's already happening over there in Goloka. So what is the need to display it here? It's only for our own benefit. It's only to attract us, conditioned souls, to develop the same type of loving relationships as the Rajavasis have. It's only for our benefit, to attract us to Him. Krishna wants us that He becomes the most dear object of love for all of us. Whatever is dear to us becomes the object of our possessiveness. It's something, and ultimately, what is most dear to us, it's our own self, our own soul. And whatever is in relationship, in favorable relationship to our own self, we want to possess. Out of countless of millions of such things that are dear to us and that we want to possess, Krishna is actually the most dear. And He is even more dear than our own self, our own soul. But we have to come to the point to realize this. And He can facilitate that in any way we wish to relate to Him. He can become a perfect master, friend, son, parent, lover, anything our hearts desires. So He displays these pastimes to attract our hearts, to steal our hearts. When He manifested pastimes here on earth, as soon as He started to walk, besides of stealing hearts, He started to steal something else also. What was that? Butter. Makanchor. He started to steal butter. That was His favorite pastime, of stealing butter. First time He stole the butter, he was a still small boy, and he saw his reflection in a inlaid jewel, the pillar, inlaid pillar inlaid with the jewels. He saw his own reflections, and then he got afraid. He said, "Oh Bhai, oh brother, please don't tell mother. In this way, you can also have some butter, and you can also enjoy." And he didn't see that Mother Yashoda was nearby, hearing this and laughing to herself. On another occasion, he put his hand in a pot of butter while Mother Yashoda was outside of the house. But it happened that she came back and saw him in this position. So he had to excuse himself. So he said, "Oh mother, these ruby bangles that I have on my hand, the effulgence of these bangles burned my hand so much that I had to stuck it in butter to cool it down." And Yashoda laughed. Yes, Lala, let me see. So she took him on his lap and he took off bangles and kissed his hand. And in this way, Mother Yashoda enjoyed exchanging rasa with Krishna. On another occasion, Mother Yashoda was sitting outside. It was a full moon night. They were sitting outside. And Krishna was playing around. Mother Yashoda was sitting and talking to gopis, elderly gopis, her friends. But Krishna wanted some attention, so he came too close from behind to Mother. He took off her veil. He untied her braid. He wanted some attention. And then Yashoda told to the gopis, okay, you attend to him. So they took him on their lap and asked him, hey Vatsa, what do you want? Do you want some creamy, nice butter? No, I don't want this. Do you want some cheese? Some milk? No, I don't want. So what do you want? I want freshly churned condensed butter. What? Freshly churned condensed butter? What is that? And then Krishna showed his index finger towards the moon. I want that freshly churned condensed butter. Oh Lala, this is not freshly churned condensed butter. It is Rajahamsa. It's a royal swan gliding over the lake of the sky. No problem. I want that royal hamsa. I want that Rajahamsa. Please give it to me. And he started crying and kicking his legs. And then the other gopis, they took him on their lap. Listen, Lala, they lied to you. This is not a Rajahamsa. This is actually Chandra, the moon. Okay, this is moon? Okay, please give me that moon. I want that moon. And he again started crying. Eventually, Mother Yashoda had to take him on his lap. Listen, my dear Vatsa. All these gopis, they lied to you. It is not Rajahamsa. It is not also the moon. It is freshly churned condensed butter. But you cannot have it because see these marks on that freshly churned condensed butter? These are poisonous marks. So you cannot take it. It's poisonous. What is poison, Mother? It's something that will hurt you. So you cannot have it. So how this mark came to be? Krishna asked. Listen, Lala. Once demigods and demons, they churned the ocean of milk. Oh, ocean of milk. How many cows were needed to make this ocean of milk? Oh Lala, this ocean of milk is not made by the cows. It's made by the one who gave the cows ability to make milk. Who is he? He is the Supreme Lord. He is the master of everybody, all-pervading super soul. Oh, really? Are you telling the truth, Mother? Yes, Lala. So demigods and the demons, they churned this ocean of milk using churning rod of Mandara mountain and Vasuki. And as the result of this churning, this poison was created that you see on that piece of freshly churned condensed butter. That's why I cannot give it to you. Instead, please come and eat my freshly churned butter. And in this way, Mother Yashoda consoled him, took him to sleep, put him to sleep. And next morning, she immediately came when he woke up, gave him water to wash his mouth, and then offered him different sort of milk products on a big tray to choose. But Krishna refused. He said, Mother, yesterday you lied to me, so that's why I don't want to take anything now anymore. And I was very hungry and disturbed yesterday, so you take this plate away. So in this way, Krishna, through his activities, he increased his mother's love. And also he manifested many other pastimes in different rasas with his friends in the forest, with the gopis, with his servants. He manifested our pastime, these pastimes in front of our eyes in order that we can be attracted by these divine loving exchanges and desire to develop our love in the same way as the Vrajavasis do. So it's very essential for us to listen to these pastimes, otherwise how we will be attracted. But also, on the other side, we have to have strong foundation in Tattva. We need to know what is what. We need to know also about the creation of the universe and about different little avatars. Otherwise, just by listening to the pastimes, if we don't have strong foundation, we'll be confused. So we have to see during the day how much of the time and our attention is absorbed by matters not related to Krishna, whether these are some practical affairs of day-to-day life, managerial affairs, Gramya Katha, or how much of that is really Krishna Katha. Because whatever we hear during the day, most prominently it will be on our mind and we will be absorbed in that. So we have to make sure that we regularly listen about the pastimes of the Lord, about also the pastimes of His different avatars and expansions. And in this way, our consciousness can become purified and we can be absorbed in these pastimes. And this is what exactly Rupa Goswami is saying in the Nectar of Instruction, Pudashamrita, when he's saying that one should utilize one's full time, 24 hours a day, in nicely chanting, remembering and hearing about the Lord's name, form, qualities and pastimes. Okay, I will stop here. We don't have much time. There is just maybe one short question or comment, otherwise we can stop. And tomorrow we can hear more from different speakers. Thank you very much. Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai.